after the 2020 election, there was an article about how the media is going to deal with Joe Biden in a publication called The Atlantic, which is left-wing. And they talk about Mr. Acosta. And in the article it said this, and I'm quoting, "The drama," meaning the drama between him and Trump, "made him, Acosta, famous. But Acosta said he doesn't expect to bring the same crusading style to his coverage of the next administration." And they quote Mr. Acosta, "I don't think the press should be trying to whip up the Biden presidency and turn it into must-see TV in a contrived way," end of quote. Isn't that an admission that he was trying to whip up the Trump presidency? The Atlantic article also quoted another guy, correspondent with the Toronto Star, which, by the way, carries my column, so they're not totally bad. His name is Daniel Dale. And he admitted that he intended to approach the Biden administration very differently. Quote, "This will not be a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week job to fact-check Biden." Close quote. And one of the big publications, either the New York Times or the Washington Post, I forget which, they're interchangeable, had a count of the number of lies, in quotes, that they felt Donald Trump was committing. And as soon as Donald Trump was defeated, they said they weren't going to have a counter like that for Joe Biden because we don't expect Biden to lie the way Donald Trump did. The man lied. Biden did repeatedly. But no fact check counter. Now, let's talk about some of the things Mr. Acosta did, including pushing the Russia collusion narrative, number 21.
One occasion when the question of the Russia investigation came up during this briefing with respect to the Trump campaign and allegations of collusion with the Russians, Sarah Sanders tried to flip the script on a number of occasions and say, well, it was the Hillary Clinton campaign and the Democratic National Committee. Now, I don't think this is any small thing, Brooke. When you have the White House, keep in mind the campaign is over, the election is over, when the White House is suggesting that there is collusion, that there was collusion going on between a defeated rival, a defeated political opponent, and a foreign government, as this White House is doing. It's one thing for one campaign to say it about another, but this is the White House saying that, and that is why I try to ask the question. It was a multi-part question. You know, why is it that the president felt to be involved in this Uranium One deal to try to have that gag order lifted on that key informant in the FBI investigation? No real answer there, although Kellyanne Conway, the White House counselor, spoke to that earlier this morning on CNN. And then also the president tweeted that the only collusion that existed in the election was between Hillary Clinton and the Russians. When I asked for evidence of that, there was no evidence presented. This White House has presented no evidence of that. The president has not presented any evidence of that. And so once again, you have sort of this inappropriate political behavior on the part of this White House that we saw going on during the course of that campaign with locker up and everything else. When you have a White House making those kinds of allegations about a defeated opponent, that is just something that's just not normal in the course of events in a political campaign, or to have a White House do from the podium of the White House briefing room. So, you know, I don't know if you notice this right now, Brooke, but there are some kids in Halloween costumes going back right now to the Oval Office to meet with the president. You know, perhaps there will be some trick-or-treating going on in the Oval Office, but I think there might have been a fair amount of that going on here in the briefing room a few moments ago, Brooke.
I thought I saw kids. It was funny to see little faces as you guys were asking these heavy-hitting questions.
I forgot my costume. That's right.
Unfortunately, although maybe somebody can be Jim Acosta for Halloween. Jim, thank you so much, as always. Sure. And on Jim's latter point, just about how Sarah Sanders, Michael Zeldin.
Where do you start with that? Such arrogance. It is not normal. No, it's not normal for the Hillary campaign and the DNC to pay for that Steele dossier that was phony, that was used to get warrants under the FISA court. And they call the payment for the Steele dossier what? campaign expenditures. And the FEC fined them. Nobody brought any criminal charges. Donald Trump called the payments Stormy Daniels' legal expenses. And Hillary called her payments legal expenses. Donald Trump gets prosecuted criminally by Alvin Bragg. Even the FEC looked at what Donald Trump did and declined to even fine him. But Jim Acosta was one of those pushing the Russia collusion. And he had a clash with President Trump over border stats, number 22.
And I'm honored by it. Yes, Jim Acosta.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wonder if you could comment on this disconnect that we seem to have in this country, where you are presenting information about what's happening at the border, calling it an invasion, talking about women with duct tape over their mouths and so on, and yet there's a lot of reporting out there, there's a lot of crime data out there, there's a lot of Department of Homeland Security data out there that shows border crossings at a near record low.
That shows
undocumented immigrants committing crime at lower levels. That shows undocumented criminals or undocumented immigrants committing crime at lower levels than native-born Americans. What do you say to
you don't really believe that stat? Do you really believe that stat? Take a look at our federal prisons.
I believe in facts and statistics.
Okay,
and data,
any more quick? Let's go.
But let me just ask you this: what do you say to your critics who say that you are creating a national emergency, that you're concocting a national emergency here in order?
This business about illegal aliens committing crime at lower levels than Americans will be addressed next hour by John Lott.
Thanks for watching these clips from The Larry Elder Show. If you enjoyed this content, be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss a moment. More thought-provoking discussions are just a click away, so stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next one.